Alright, man, peace. So I just wanted to congratulate the brother Jarrett Hurd in fulfilling his dream and winning multiple belts at the 154-pound junior middleweight class in his victory last night over Erislandy Lara. For those of you who follow boxing, you know that Erislandy Lara is recognized as being one of the top pure boxers in the sport. Jarrett Hurd was able to defeat him through his doggedness, his determination, and the fact that, quite frankly, he was just way too big for Erislandy Lara. Jarrett Hurd is one of those fighters that I call a weight class world champion, meaning what? He's able to dominate for the simple fact that his size, his length, his reach is just going to overwhelm most of the fighters that he faces at that weight class, unless the person that he fights just has an unbelievable skill level as well as size that is relatively commensurate with Jarrett Hurd. When they were fighting, it looked like a 168-pounder against a 154-pounder. That's how it looked. And I thought that Erislandy Lara figured out a little too late that he expended too much energy moving around early in the fight. When you're facing a big man like that, the modus operandi would actually be to try to fight him in the pocket, try to smother his power, and hopefully wear him down to the body. That was the only chance that Erislandy Lara had. But once again, great victory for Jarrett Hurd. It sets up a mega bout against Jermell Charlo. So we'll see what happens with that. This left hook was the shot that knocked Lara down in the 12th round. Going into the 12th round last night, I said to myself in between rounds, as Jarrett Hurd's corner was talking to him, I said that he needs a knockdown, at the very least, to cement a victory in this fight, because once again, Erislandy Lara is a fighter who is held in very high esteem in the boxing world, particularly amongst boxing judges. Even though he's been robbed, he was robbed against Paul Williams, but he is held in very high esteem. He's a great pure boxer. He comes from the Cuban school, and those fighters are definitely held in high esteem in boxing. He boxed very well early on. He was able to catch Jarrett Hurd with a lot of sharp, straight left hands, good combinations. But the issue with Erislandy is that he's too deliberate, and he was unable to keep up with Jarrett Hurd's pace. I knew that his pace would eventually take a toll. And I like Jarrett Hurd. I like his story, but he's just not a good boxer. He's a great athlete who boxes, but he's not a good boxer. That's why I call him a weight class champion. He's someone who's going to do very well at 154, when most of the fighters that he faces are going to be way smaller than him as far as dimensionally is concerned. Meaning what? He's going to have a longer reach than most of the fighters that he faces. He's going to be taller than most of the fighters that he faces. So that's going to give him a big psychological advantage when he's able to take shots from fighters and walk them down. Just that specter of having another man walking you down like that when he's 4 or 5 inches taller than you, and you're not quite sure what to do because you've shot all your artillery and it's not slowing him down, that can have a great mental effect on a fighter. And you could see it, that it was systematically wearing Erislandy Lara down, especially after round 6. The expression on his face changed, and he realized that the punches that Jarrett Hurd was throwing were starting to hurt him, especially to the body. He was throwing great left hooks to the body, and that was damaging Erislandy Lara as the fight started to proceed. And that's the benefit of body work. That is why I say that, in my view, Lara had the wrong game plan. He tried to outbox him from the outside early on. And that's not really what you can do with fighters like that, with reach advantages like that. He should have stayed in the pocket and tried to wear him down to the body. And I think that you'll see that if they fight a rematch, which I would not advise Jarrett Hurd to do right away. Not if he really wants to be the unified champion at 154. If he gives Lara a rematch too soon, it's a very good chance that Lara may adjust and outbox him, and he won't get the opportunity to fight Charlo, who I think is going to beat Jarrett Hurd anyway, but who the hell knows what can happen. Hurd is so big and so determined that he may be able to stop Charlo himself. I mean, we'll see. I'm definitely going to be looking forward to that fight, though. But I like what I see from Hurd in regards to a lot of the intangibles that he has. He has great heart. He has great courage. As far as pure boxing skills, to be quite honest with you, I don't think he has much. He squares his shoulders up too much. He has terrible balance when he throws his punches. He's intelligent enough to not put his full body behind every punch, so he knows how to pace himself properly. But he doesn't accentuate his reach. His jab is good, but it's not great. His right hand, he doesn't extend on that. So it's only a matter of time before he faces someone who is near in size to him that is able to capitalize on all the mistakes that he makes in the ring. But we'll see. When they spoke to Lara after the fight, he claimed that he didn't believe that he lost, but when they announced the official judgment, he did not seem as if he was protesting too hard. I think that he knew that he lost. I think that he understood that the fight was very close coming down the stretch. And in the 12th round, when he got knocked down, I'm pretty sure that he was not surprised when the official verdict was put forth and he was not rendered the winner. I thought that the fight was very, very close through 11. And in the 12th round, when Jarrett Hurd got that knockdown, I felt like he was going to get the victory. And I thought that he deserved it. I thought the scores truly reflected how close the fight was. It was 114, 113 on all three judges' scorecards. One judge had it for Lara, the other two had it for Hurd. Very good match. Very good match. Lara's going to have to go back to the drawing board because I don't think that Hurd is going to give him an immediate rematch, nor should he. So what's next for Erislandy? Probably a rematch with Austin Trout. It would not surprise me. And the winner of that fight would most likely get the winner of the Jermell Charlo versus Jarrett Hurd fight. Oh, who knows? J-Rock Williams, he was on the undercard here. He may get an opportunity. J-Rock, he suffered a very, very bad defeat at the hands of Jermell Charlo's brother, Jamal Charlo. He pretty much got beat around the ring. But Jamal Charlo is another fighter who I consider to be a weight class fighter until I see different. I need to see Jamal Charlo in the ring against someone who is near his size before I give him the type of respect that is deserving of a world champion who has definitely conquered his weight class due to skill. There are certain fighters who are just bigger than everybody. Like Paul Williams. When Paul Williams was fighting, everybody was talking about how Floyd Mayweather was ducking Paul Williams. To me, he was just a guy picking on little dudes. When he finally got in the ring with someone who could match his power and his speed, you saw what happened. His career was never the same. He got in the ring with Lara. He got a gift decision that he should not have gotten. And then, unfortunately for him, he got into that very bad motorcycle accident. Now he's paralyzed. So, but yeah, so going back in the mid-2000s, people were talking about how Floyd Mayweather was ducking Paul Williams. Paul Williams never fought anybody until he fought Margarito. That was in 2008 when Floyd was retired for the first time. By the time Floyd came back, Paul had already moved up to 154. That's where he had that great bout against Sergio Martinez, the first fight, where there was a split decision. And then, of course, the rematch where he got his lights put out. But point being is this. Many of these fighters, because of the fact that you have the previous day weigh-in, are allowed to hydrate up and take advantage of the fact that they can come into fights outweighing their opponent by 15, 20 pounds. I would say that Jarrett Hurd most likely outweighed Erislandy by at least 12 to 15 pounds in this fight. Not making excuses for Erislandy. I think that he fought the wrong fight. But there are certain fighters that you can tell that once they move up, it's going to be a different story for them. And I think that that's going to be the case with Mr. Jarrett Hurd. So he should take advantage of the fact that he can make 154, try to get that fight with Jermell Charlo. If he can consolidate the belts, that'd be a great thing for him. Great thing for his career. And, of course, he'll have to move up to 160 and prove me wrong. But we'll see. But what do I think is up next for Mr. Erislandy Lara? Most likely a rematch with Austin Trout. Because most fighters are not going to want to fight him when he doesn't even have a belt. Or who knows? Maybe Errol Spence may move up to 154 because he can't get any fights at 147. Word around the campfires that Keith Thurman is thinking about signing with Bob Arum and moving over to Top Rank. So we know he doesn't really want to fight Errol. Manny Pacquiao is going to be fighting Lucas Matisse for the WBA belt. I think that a lot of this is to try to pull Errol over to Top Rank, but we'll see. Errol may just say, I don't want to be bothered, and move up to 154. He got into a little verbal dust-up with Kell Brook, the fighter whose ass he beat to get the IBF belt last year. He broke Kell Brook's eye socket. Kell Brook stated to him at ringside that he wants to fight Errol again in a rematch at 154 with no title on the line. Errol told him, you got to win a belt first, which is correct. Why would I fight you and you have no belt? It doesn't make any sense. I'm at championship status now. To fight guys, they either have to have a belt or they have to be coming for my belt. That's how it works when you're the A side. That's just basic business. Many of these promoters are trying to woo Errol Spence because they understand that he has basically everything that you would want as a promoter. He's not going to duck anybody. He wants to fight everybody. He has a fan-friendly style, and he happens to be so-called black. That's very rare that you have a so-called black fighter that doesn't alienate the boxing public in some degree, either because of how he fights or because of his personality. He has the type of personality that he can cross over to the Latino fans, to the Caucasian fans, to the Asian fans, because he's very meek and he fights in a very aggressive way. So De La Hoya and Bob Arum know that if they were able to get their hands on Errol Spence, he could be the next boxing superstar. They could definitely build him up to where he could be a pay-per-view star. There's no doubt about that. So they want him. And we'll see what happens with that. I don't think that Errol's going to get the chance to live out his dream and consolidate the welterweight belt. So he may have to move up to junior middleweight and see what he can do there. But I don't think that he wants to do that while his stablemate Jermell Charlo's still there. I don't think he's going to move up to 154 until Jermell has moved up to 160. But anyway, very good fight. Jarrett Hurd showed once again that he has great mettle, great heart. Erislandy Lara also showed that he had great heart. After the knockdown, he came up fighting. Great fighter. Peace.